Greetings, friends, and welcome to Beast Foundry. My name is Christian, and as usual, I will be your guide today. Now today, we have something somewhat of a treat for you guys. I'm going to be running through a small little combat using a virtual tabletop known as a VTT. And I'm going to kind of show you guys how this stuff works. And we're also going to discuss some strategy as we go along and do this. There are certainly tendencies that when people start playing, everyone just runs up, they start attacking things, and it can get very chaotic. And of course, the players, they can do well, but if you have some very simple strategies, you're able to maximize your effectiveness. So I really wanted to make a video and show you guys some of the very simple things you can do that are incredibly impactful in the game. So let's get started, shall we? All right. Now, as you can see here, we have our group of adventurers. And, oh, you know what? This is the virtual tabletop known as Tailspire. It is a 3D, as you can see, tabletop. It is very immersive. I personally love it. It is still in its beta phase. It is available through Steam. You can find them at tailspire.com if you want to know more about it. It's pretty system agnostic, honestly. As you can see the dice below, it is designed for mostly a D20 system. But you can use this for D&D, you can use it for Pathfinder, any role-playing. There is sci-fi settings, sci-fi boards that you can build, and I built all of this. Everything you see here, I just threw it together really quick for this demonstration. So let's get back to it, shall we? So as you can see here, we have our lizard folk fighter, we have this tiefling bard, we have a human rogue, and we have a human sorcerer. So we're going to kind of, they came into this room. There's a bunch of storage here, but they can hear noise on the other side of this door. So they are going to get ready and they're going to open it and they're expecting an attack. So what we've done here is our lizard man fighter, he is wielding a halberd, which is a reach weapon. So he's going to take up the front position. He has good fortitude, he has okay reflex. The enemy cannot simply move through him, and if they come up to attack him unless they have reach, they're going to suffer his attack of opportunity. No matter what happens on initiative, the enemy aren't getting past him easily. That is for certain. So I have actually already rolled the initiative in this, and as we can see here, the rogue is first. So this is going to kind of kick off with, as if I were DMing, I'm going to say, okay, what are you guys going to do? And they say, all right, we set up this position and we kind of have our players ready, and they're like, we're going to open the door. So as they open the door, I would describe the scene. All right, you see this training room where there are several orcs, practicing battle, and everyone roll for initiative. So now we have our initiative set up. We have our rogue first. Now, the rogue could run into this room, but we're not going to do that. We are going to have the rogue delay because we want the fighter to kind of lead the charge in here. We want him to get into the room and kind of honestly do what he does, take control of the situation and become the anchor point for the party in everything that they're doing. So he's simply going to delay his turn. So we're going to go next to the fighter, and he is simply going to pop in through the doorway here. He has a reach weapon. So he's going to attack this first orc here. And, orcs, they have okay armor class. So most of the time you're going to see about a 15 to 16, 17 armor class for your beginning level characters, things they're going to hit. Fighters have a very good attack bonus. This guy's got a +9. So we're going to have him make his attack. And, he got a 1. So he critically missed. So He is, he's moved in, he's made his attack, and he's already missed here, so he's not quite sure what he's going to do. So he has this one action left, and it's not always optimal, but the fighter has a pretty good attack bonus, so he's going to go ahead and try for a second attack on this orc and see what he gets. And he got a 15, and unfortunately, this guy's armor class is 18, so that's not going to do it. So the fighter's done. His turn is over, and you know what? He's happy. He's going to stay there, so that takes us to our orc warrior. Now, he needs to step up here to attack our lizard man fighter, so he's going to do that. However, if he were to normally move, he would incur an attack of opportunity, but because of his positioning, he was able to step. He's not going to incur that, so he's going to go ahead and make an attack against our trusty fighter with his orc neck splitter, and we're gonna see how that goes. 12. No one's doing hot here, really. So, he's done that. He has an intimidation score, so he's gonna go ahead and try this. He's thinking, you know what? I swung, I missed, I'm mad. I'm gonna see if I can intimidate. And that succeeds. He actually intimidates our fighter here. So he now has a -1 until the end of his next turn. So his turn is over. Our sorcerer, he's got a good line of sight. Now, he's kind of assessing the situation in the battlefield, and he is looking that if he simply moved up here, so he's going to spend 2 moves to get up here, he's going to cast his electric arc, and that can affect 2 enemies that are within 30 feet of him. So he's going to count out 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So he's got both of these guys are within reach of his spell. So he's going to try to hit them. So they're going to make a reflex save, the one closest to the fighter. He got 25, not a critical success. So he's still going to take half damage. And the other one, that is a fail. So he's going to take full damage. So we're going to go ahead and deal that damage. We just roll once. We apply this damage to both of them. So 7. So this fellow, he's going to take 3 damage. And this one here, he's going to take 7. So, and you can see what we've done. We've kind of limited their ability to get to our other parties. They have to get through our fighter here. And we've kind of left this space where our range characters they're in a good position. They're very well protected. So this is just going to leave our orc brute, and he was already practicing with his bow. So he's going to go ahead and he's going to try taking a shot with his bow here at our fighter. And that is a miss. And you know what? He's going to take another shot. This is going to be at you know what? That was, the armor class is 1 lower, but it's still nowhere even close because of the frightened condition. He's going to take a second shot. This is technically at a 9 because he has a -1 total to that attack. Not even close. But he wants to get a good line of sight so he can see who's behind here. So maybe he can start shooting at softer targets, people that he might have a better chance of hitting. Now, I'm not playing super strategic with these monsters. I would have probably, if they were a smarter opponent, move first and just to see what's there. But I kind of like to go with the situation. If you're just doing stuff and all of a sudden you see enemies come in, you're just going to turn and start attacking those enemies. You're not really, everyone do this. So these aren't the smartest of opponents, so I don't really use a huge amount of strategy here. They're just pretty much focus on what they can see and go from there. So lastly, we have our last orc warrior, and he is going to run around, and he can't really get to anywhere that effective. So he's going to get here. However, he had to move. He couldn't step, so he had to run to get to this spot. That provokes an attack of opportunity from our fighter. So we got a 16, still not a hit. Our team is not rolling well here. They have not found their stride, apparently. So that is going to go ahead and allow our orc to attack. And he is going to 16. That is a miss against our fighter, even with his frightened condition. So you know what? He's going to go ahead and swing again because he's mad, and nope. And this is where we see, in Pathfinder, your second attack is at that -5. The chances of hitting are much lower. So the enemies, they didn't do that great either. No one's been hurt from them. So no one's hitting all the way around, but they are forced to attack our high defense fighter because no one else can get into the room. So next we have our bard. Our bard's going to take a step over here to get a better line of sight, and she's going to cast a telekinetic projectile. Now, this is an attack spell, and since she is going through her allies, that is going to give this orc lesser cover. So the armor class is going to be 1 higher, and that is not what we're doing. We have to hit first before we can deal our damage. So she lines up the attack, and we have a 20 for 27. That is a critical hit. Anytime you roll a 20, you get to increase the results. So while a 27, their armor class is 18, that would have been a normal hit. But because of the 20, the normal hit escalates into a critical hit. So let's see what happens with that. And a critical hit, very simple. You double all the damage. So our bard uses the telekinetic projectile that deals 6, which turns into 12 damage. So all of a sudden, this orc is not doing so great. Now, that ends her turn. Casting a spell is 2 actions. So we're going to just move to our rogue. And our rogue's looking at this situation and thinking, okay, I can't get past these orcs. There's too much stuff here, but I want to get into a flanking position. I'm going to risk going out here using a tumble through. So that requires, when you use tumble through, and when you move, you can attempt to move through the enemy's position, and it basically counts as difficult terrain. So it's going to cost you 10 feet of movement instead of 5 feet to go through that square. So what our rogue is going to do is basically can move through their ally squares, and is going to attempt this tumble through. This is an acrobatics check, and it is against the reflex save of this orc. So success, that is, beats it. So our rogue can get here into flanking, which most importantly allows him to get sneak attack. And this enemy is now flat-footed. So its armor class is effectively 16. So our rogue is going to go ahead and try to see if they can hit with this lower armor class. Wow. So we have another critical hit. So that's going to deal a very impressive. Our rogue is using their short sword, and they are built so they're using their dex for damage. And this is a total of 11. So that has brought them to 0 damage. Now, most opponents, that they would be dead. They hit 0 hit points, they're dead. The orcs have a reaction ability called ferocity. And what that does is when they would normally die, they can use this reaction and they can stay at 1 hit point. So this orc is going to go ahead and use their ferocity, and he gets to stay at 1 hit point. Now the rogue is kind of looking like, okay, I don't want to be out here when all of these enemies go. I'm a little worried about this, but maybe the fighter is going to be able to pick up the slack here. And so our rogue's kind of in this interesting position of, maybe if I did an attack, I could hit and finish off this orc. Maybe I could tumble through and get back into safety so the enemy remained bottlenecked. So this is kind of a tough situation because this orc gets to go before our sorcerer, who could easily do electric arc and inflict almost guaranteed damage. So this is a gamble. So I think we're going to go ahead and try to finish off this orc. So this is going to be at a total of a +2 bonus, and against an armor class of 16. We did not succeed. So we're kind of okay. So next is our fighter. Our fighter needs to get this hit. So our fighter can see the situation and is like, all right, I really need to kill this guy. It's a waste to deal all this damage to one opponent that only has 1 hit point, and I have a really good chance of hitting now, but it needs to happen. So our fighter is going to attack. We're trying to hit an armor class of 18, and we have 18 on the die, so that's total 29. Technically, that is a critical hit because of the flanking, exactly because our fighter is still frightened and will be till the end of this turn. But that is enough. This enemy has been killed. So now you can see they've been removed from the initiative because they're no longer there. Our fighter's used 1 action and has successfully dealt with this orc in front of him, thus creating a larger opening. So what we're going to do here is our fighter is going to throw caution into the wind. They are going to use their power attack. It's a special action. It takes 2 of your actions. If it hits, they will deal an extra weapon dice of damage. So we have to... Luck is with us. That really paid off. So this damage is actually going to be 1d10 plus 4. That's the normal hit, so 9 damage, but because it was a power attack, it deals an extra weapon, so that is an extra 7. So instead of 9 damage, we're dealing 16 damage. That is exactly what we have left on this orc. So he is also going to use his ferocity. So now he has 1 hit point and he's not looking very good. Now, next up is our sorcerer. And we can see from our sorcerer, he's got that electric arc. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got 2 enemies lined up. So he's going to hit this orc here. That is going to try to make a reflex save and see what it can do. As long as it doesn't critically succeed, it's going to die. So, wow, we're getting lots of 20s. Critically succeeded, so our orc is still hanging in there with 1 hit point. Let's see what the other one's got. And that is a 14, a failure. So we get to do our electric arc damage, and that is going to be 6 damage. So this one's not as tough as the other 2. He's kind of practicing. That's why it was an archer, hangs out in the back. But now we have our orc brute. Still got our bow. It sees that rogue there and it's a little closer. So it's going to go ahead and take a shot with its bow and see if it can hit our rogue. That is a total of a 20 to hit. That is a successful hit on the rogue. So that's going to deal a 1d6 flat damage. So that's 2 damage. So our rogue is hurt a little, and it's seeing that wizard is, hitting it with magic electricity that is coming from the other room. It does not like that. So it's going to move over here where that wizard can't really see it as good, and it can't be flanked easily because it's got these practice dummies on either side of it. And it's going to go ahead and take a shot. It's a total of -1, but it doesn't know what else to do. So it's just going to take one more pot shot at the rogue. So that's a total of 17. That does not hit our rogue. Our rogue has an armor class of 18, so it's good there. Next, we have our orc warrior hanging in there with 1 hit point. And he is just consumed with this crazy lust. He can kind of see that things are not looking well for him. So he's going to take a swing at our fighter here because he feels that is the biggest threat. And if he can take him down, that is a big advantage to him. We have a total of 18 that hits our fighter's armor class. So his orc neck splitter, he's going to go ahead and, ooh, that's a big hit. That is 11 points of damage. So our fighter, you see that 1 hit, he took a bit of damage. So he's feeling a little confident about this. So he's going to make a second attack, and this one is at a total of a +2 and 18. He hits again. Oh no. And this is a forceful weapon. And what forceful weapons do is when you attack, if you hit with a second time or even a third time, you get a bonus to damage equal to the number of weapon damage dice. So right now it is a +1 damage on top of what we're going to roll. So with this could take our fighter down, honestly. 10, 1 damage, 11. So our fighter is dropped down to 0 hit points, which now means they are going to go ahead and, let's see, they move in front of this orc for their initiative. And yep, that's not good for the rest of our team here. Let's wonder what they're going to do. So our fighter is down, and the orc warrior, he's definitely feeling emboldened. He's going to try a Hail Mary attack for this rogue that's standing here. Only a 20 will hit. So pretty confident, yes, there is no hit here. Now our bard is up next, and our bard, seeing their fighter friend gone down, they're going to cast their Soothe spell. This is a 2-action spell, heals 1d8 +4. So let's see what happens. Ooh, minimum. However, that's no longer in the dying condition. So our fighter is up still. And our rogue our bard is going to go ahead and come into the room. And she can see that her fighter friend is not doing well from this orc, so she's going to go ahead and try and intimidate. She's a charisma-based character, so her chances of intimidating are pretty good, and that is a success against this orc's will. So this orc is now frightened one, and that's going to end her turn. Now, because our fighter is alive again, he technically threatens. So our rogue is going to move over here for flanking. So the bard able to bring that fighter up, even though the fighter isn't able to do much, got knocked unconscious and their weapon isn't in their hand, they still threaten with their natural attacks, fists, claws, bites, even if they're on the ground. So our rogue can try to get their sneak attack. So they're going to move into position and see what they can do. So that one rolled pretty far. Let's see what happens. And we have a total of a 20. That is going to hit with our sneak attack. So it only has 1 hit point, so it's going to use its ferocity again in an attempt to stay alive. And our rogue's going to go ahead and try and attack here. Since it's frightened, our rogue doesn't have the worst chance in the world. And 13, so this is because of the -5 or -4 with the short sword, it being agile, that is only going to be a +3. So that 13 becomes 17, and its armor class is lower by 2, and it's frightened. So it's only actually needs to hit an AC of 15. So that rogue got a hit with the second attack, and it's only got 1 damage, so it's dead. And with that, our rogue is going to go ahead and get over here into a position to kind of menace this archer, just hoping to throw them off their game. And with that, we get to our sorcerer. They're going to go ahead and step into the room, and they're going to cast their electric arc again. So let's see what our orc friend here can manage to do. And that is a total of 21 success. So they're only going to take half damage on this. But as you can see, we're still dealing some damage. So, another 4 damage. This guy's, even though our sorcerer is kind of hanging back, is still dealing, is plinking away at this guy. And we get to our orc brute and kind of drops the bow, pulls out his knuckle dagger, and he's going to try to stab the rogue and see if he can do anything with that. So nope. He spent 1 action to draw out, get his weapon ready. He had made an attack, he missed, and he's going to try one more time. Odds are pretty low, only a +3 on this roll. Very close. Our rogue's armor class is 18. This is only a 17 though, so that is a miss. And now our fighter is going to grab his weapon, and that's an action. He's going to stand up. That is another action. And unfortunately, he's just going to have to move into position because he doesn't have enough actions to make an attack. But our bard is here, and she's going to fall back here. And she's going to go ahead and cast another soothe spell because we do not want our fighter to go down. That's very bad. And we rolled a 1 again. So that's a total of another 5 hit points. So, oh man, she is not doing that great at healing. But you know what? It's all right. That's how it goes sometimes. And our rogue is in a good position to attack. He's going to go ahead and launch this attack for you guys. And that is a miss, unfortunately. So this guy's armor class is a little lower. It's an armor class of 15. But still, we're going to try for a second attack, see how that goes. And 12, nope, that is still not going to hit. So unfortunately, that is not a success. And he's going to stay here and keep his position. He'll go ahead and try for that Hail Mary third attack because he just doesn't really have a lot of other options. So yes, so we didn't expect that to hit. It didn't. We're going to move along to our sorcerer. So same thing. He's going to go for his electric arc. It's been working for him so far. And 18, that is a success. So he's going to take that electric arc, half of that damage. Ooh, we got another 8 damage. So that's going to be another 4. So he -4. He hasn't had to enact his ferocity, but he's left with 1 hit point. And our sorcerer is going to try intimidate. This one hasn't been intimidated, so our sorcerer's got that 1 action still. So is also a charisma-based character trained in intimidate. So it's good to keep those things. So that is a 20, a success. So our orc has a -1 to everything. Let's clear all the dice. I do love the dice piling up. It's fun, but sometimes it gets a little messy. Our orc brute is in a very bad position. Completely surrounded on all sides, can't really get out from where they're at, and is facing down our rogue, who is perfectly healthy. So he's going to go ahead and try with this knuckle dagger. This is actually going to be a net -1 from whatever we see here. So that is a 19. Still a hit though. Our rogue isn't that dodgy, so not nearly as dangerous as the orc warrior. So let's see. Ooh, 9 damage. That is that is hurting. So he's going to try again. He's feeling a little emboldened. This is going to be at a total of technically +2 because he's still frightened. 16, not a hit. And what else is he going to try to do? He can't get away. He's very pinned down. He's going to try this Hail Mary. No, so close, but no, not a success. So now we have our fighter. He is going to see if he can put the hurt into this guy. And oh, he is rattled. He's only a 19 or 16 total. However, this guy's armor class is 15, so that's a hit. So we go with our halberd. And this is why I love reach weapons. It allows you to do so much on the battlefield. And our friend here only has 1 hit point, so he has to use his ferocity to stay alive. And our fighter, he's going to try again because he has a decent chance of hitting. And if he hits, he can end this battle. And we have a critical hit. He rolled a 20. That doesn't matter. He's only got 1 hit point, but that ends the fight. So as you can see, this was a decent challenge for our group. This was 2 challenge rating 1 monsters and orcs with ferocity. Very tough. And we also have our little peon orc that, is a level 0, so nothing to laugh at. So this was a very good encounter for this group. And you can see the way we initially started out, we didn't just rush into the room and go all over the place. We systematically focused on enemies, trying to capitalize on our advantages and really look critically at what we're doing so that we don't actually, needlessly lose hit points. So I hope you enjoyed this demonstration, and maybe it went a little long, but I really wanted to show you guys, and I want to know some feedback. Did you guys like this video? Did you like seeing this and having this visual representation of a fight? Was it helpful? Maybe show this to people that are talking about, oh, we're getting into Pathfinder 2 and we want to know about it. I didn't do this for 100% from a beginner's point of view, but I wanted to go through and just show a little bit of tactics and a tiny bit of gameplay, just for something new and fun. So if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, share with your friends, leave comments below, all that good stuff. And as always, until next time, game well, my friends.